Degeneracy is not just the difference of who is the most cringe. It exists on a spectrum, and today we are going to categorize the different types of degenerates on a tier list, ranging from just mere cringe stuff to genuine threats to Western civilization. So get prepared and put on your eye protection because this is gonna get real cringe real fast. Object Show Community, OSC. The OSC has had its fair share of incidents that would make 12-year-old Mike and Carrie scream in agony. Now, it is important here to separate the creators from the community. Most creators of object shows, or at least the ones with good quality, are not cringe. But of course, the rule that 90% of any dataset will be unreliable seems to be applicable here more than anywhere else, as there are great cringe levels here. Let us begin by talking about the shipping of characters. Oh, the god-awful shipping. Fiery Feast seems to be a good start because the onslaught of horny 13-year-olds seems to be incapable of understanding the concept of two characters being friends, especially when they have opposite genders. I feel like the plot point BFB, or they hate each other, is Jack and Jellyfie's desperate attempt to quell this madness. No, have we just covered the tip, and I like a lot more than just the tip. Now allow me to show my unfiltered reaction to the BFDI subreddit. Alright, let's get this unedited reaction to this degenerate subreddit. I'm just gonna take a stroll here, and up. Well, that was fast. Just straight up furries. Oh, I wonder what this art is. Oh, that's a ship. That's probably not a ship. Oh, great, that's another ship. That's just amazing. Just amazing, isn't it? Just pure cringe. Oh, great. Just that right there is cringe. What is that even supposed to be right there? I don't know, but that is cringe. Jesus Christ. Oh, yeah. What is this? What the? Maybe you'll be thinking twice after I kick you in the snowball. Did Snowball just sock Golf Ball in the head and cause her to bleed? Is it because she doesn't have arms? Jesus Christ. Why? Oh God, now it's a ship. That is self-shipping. And of course it's a Psych-2-Go looking character because of course it is. What is this? Really? Great, now it's Furry Rocky. That's amazing. Oh, God, what is this? How do I even describe that? That is weird. That is cringe. Pure, unfiltered cringe reaction. Oh, great, now they're turning them into humans. They're turning what was never meant to be human into humans. Oh, great, that's a frog 4, and now that's a demon 4, and now that's alright, I presume this next one is going to be Vor 4. Nope, it somehow wasn't. Okay. Oh God, what is this? Why do they have boobs? Oh God, now they're shipping more characters. And that's furry cake. Not to be confused with furry cake, because that's cringe as heck. Let's see, is there, That's furry marker. There's too many furries here. And, great, now they're shipping tree, and, this is a joke. Okay, thank God. But, we gotta be on the lookout for the real one. And right when I said that, just frickin' more shipping. That's just amazing. Just amazing. More shit. What is that? Okay, I've had enough of this. You've seen enough. Alright.
Soda bottle. It's me, HFJ1. I came all the way here from San Francisco because I love you.
But compared to the other fandoms on this tier list, it's not really that dangerous. It's just really kind of cringe, which is why I'm rating it as the cringe tier. That's what I'm rating it as. Astrology. Astrology is a pseudoscience that claims that on the date of birth at which a person is born, whichever astrological sign, or in other words, what constellation is visible that night, can affect things such as your personality, which of course is complete bullshit. It is simply illogical to assume that constellations millions of light years away with extremely weak gravitational or electromagnetic influence on oneself at birth that won't even be in the same place in a few thousand years and look nothing like our constellations to other star systems can somehow affect the psychological processes responsible for decision making. But maybe something else controls it, such as some supernatural being which most definitely does not exist. I'm going to give this a cringe rating because it doesn't really cause much of a disturbance outside of getting some guy rejected who has terrible taste in women. Do not date astrology girls. Before we get to our next degeneracy, a word from our sponsor, Methnasium. With our customized tutoring plans, we can make your child stop acting autistic. You'll see more than just a change in their neurodivergent behavior. Book a free conversion therapy assessment today. It's a method that gets results. 94% of parents said their children flinched when they made sudden movements. 90% of students reported thoughts of self-harm. And 93% of parents lost their humanity after attending Methnasium. Get your free trial today at methnasium.com/childabuseisokay. Tumblr/Twitter. Feminism is an ideology that supposedly seeks to overthrow the patriarchy and establish gender equality. Now, if you are not a cis female and you've used Tumblr or Twitter before, you'd know otherwise. These sites are so full of pure, unfiltered degeneracy that it is insane. Not only are these sites great hives of the fat acceptance movement, they also platform horrible people. Not only that, but anyone most of these people disagree with seem to them as just fascists who are evil. This way they can keep spouting their stupidity and not question anything because of their hero complex.
Thought criminals live among us. Thought criminals will murder our families. They will torture our children. They will burn our cities to the ground. The party brings order, security, and peace. Help stand between our existence and those who think to threaten it. Report any activities of dissent to the Thought Police. War is peace. Freedom is slavery. Ignorance is strength. And always remember, Big Brother is watching.
This is literally 1984. Reddit atheism. r/atheism is quite possibly the worst subreddit to exist yet. This subreddit is full of people who are somehow still in their 2016 God's not real, we're all gonna die someday and be in darkness forever phase. and they have insane persecution complexes, thinking that they are somehow being attacked when people criticize them for disrespecting their religion. And it's not just Reddit. Take pretty much any atheist YouTuber and you will find great degeneracy. I mean, who cares, really? It's 2024. Secularization has been established for a long time. Go outside and live your life instead of wasting it arguing with people about how all Muslims are terrorists. And they think that all theists are stupid and mentally ill and dumb, and believe themselves to be intellectually superior to the average person. And I know this because I was once one of them. These guys really need to touch grass. Bronies, My Little Pony, like many shows, was made to sell toys. Its target audience was young girls. Keyword was. All of that changed, however, when the degenerate nation attacked. My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic, premiered in the year 2010 AD, and with it came the Bronies, grown adults who are into this show that was made as a reboot to what was straight up just a weekly toy commercial. I mean, I don't really have much to say on this. Of course, I'm sure we've all seen the 4chan jar. Just grow up and stop getting sturdy to horses already, please. Just please. I'm begging you, please, just touch some grass for once. Touch some grass. r/196. There exists a subreddit with such an amount of libtards and degenerates it will blow your mind. The subreddit known as r/196's mascot is a rabbit who owns guns and supports trans rights, which I think will be great foreshadowing. This subreddit is full of the aforementioned horny 13-year-olds who have dedicated the sub to fetishizing trans people. And as a trans person myself, I could say, stop it. Just stop it. All you do is make us into a tool for your degeneracy. You are bringing us down. Quit it. Cut it out. Now. This subreddit is also pretty similar to Tumblr and Twitter in the fact that they both think that anyone who disagrees with them is a fascist. But, other than that, that's just, This subreddit is actively harmful. Rule 34. There is a rule of the internet called Rule 34 that states that for every fandom, that fandom will have pornographic artwork. There is even a website dedicated to this that is full of absolute degeneracy. They don't even ban posts containing necrophilia, pedophilia, and zoophilia. Aside from this, it is a well-known fact that pornography can be very addictive. There is research proving that pornography can be as addictive as drugs like marijuana, cocaine, nitrous oxide, DMT, opioids, and many more. In addition to this, pornography causes permanent brain damage and depression. Research indicates that its usage can damage dopamine receptors. Dopamine is the chemical that creates motivation and pleasure-seeking in one's mind. So when you watch porn, you are turning yourself into a lazy slob with no motivation to live and thus become depressed. You are going to wind up killing yourself if you keep this up, so stop and get on with your life. Go and be happy. Do you see the ants and wasps fighting for their colony to survive, putting their world into order the best they can? You need to do more of that and less of your degenerate activities. Aside from this, pornography can serve as a gateway to pedophilia, zoophilia, and other terrible things. Rule 34 is actively harmful. It is it's just a terrible sight. Do not be a coomer. Just do not, no. Furry fandom. Furries are a group of people who enjoy dressing up as animals, going to conventions, and doing other things that serve no greater purpose. Or at least that's what the furries want you to think. In truth, however, the furry fandom is a hive of degeneracy where there is no escape from gooners and groomers. There are entire sites dedicated to their porn addiction, one that is entirely based in their zoophilic fetish. The most popular of which being E621 and Fur Affinity.
Even on Fur Affinity, which is not an explicitly pornographic site like E621, which makes you confirm your age, the vast majority of posts are tagged as not safe for work, and they outright deny it. They don't want to believe that the community they love so much can do that level of degeneracy. Nobody wants to believe that they and their in-group can do bad things. But the community just simply is like that, aside from a few burn furs who understand this. The majority of furries watch porn. This is sourced from a pro-furry science organization. The furry community is also ripe with pedophiles and groomers. It's like every Tuesday a furry influencer gets exposed for grooming a minor. What we can conclude from this is that the furry fandom is actively harmful to both minors and adults. Anime. Anime is a form of animation originating in Japan, a country whose culture I'm sure is the most amazing in the whole wide world. Anime tends to come primarily in the form of animated shows and manga. Of course, it can't just simply be a fun drawing thing now, can it? No, of course not, because hentai is a thing that somehow exists. And oh lord, the terrible Zenless Zone Zero and Genshin Impact ads just end my suffering already. Anime serves as a gateway to porn addiction because hentai is everywhere in the anime community. Nearly unavoidable, in fact. And anime has become a very widespread part of our culture, making it very easy for the average Joe to enter the pipeline of goonership that anime provides. This is why anime is actively harmful. Kiwi Farms. Kiwi Farms is a site that claims to be against all this degeneracy, and in doing so becomes a form of degeneracy in of itself. This forum is dedicated to identifying individuals deemed to be lol cows, and instead of helping them improve and become better individuals, they instead resort to deliberately making them worse for the sake of shits and giggles. It's fucking childish. This site is like a window into hell. A hell for people who haven't matured past middle school and learned that maybe instead of making that weird kid end it all, we should maybe try to help him fit in. I mean, it's probably a good idea that would lead us to less overall suffering. But we don't have time for that because Chris Chan just got a girl pregnant and now we have to make him think he's the Prime Minister of Greenland. This site is known for tactics such as doxing or swatting people. This is what makes the website very dangerous. Stormfront. Stormfront is a forum that claims to be for white nationalists who want to advocate for the survival of the white race in a cruel world where white people are marginalized. Now, if you are not white or have common sense, you would realize that this is actually a neo-Nazi site that is homophobic, racist, and so many other buzzwords that the left-wing media love to use so much. I want to believe it's satire so bad, but these are real people who actually believe this crap. This kind of hate with little to no reason for it can only drive us apart and lead to prejudice. This is why the site is very dangerous.
Don't be racist. I am a building and I've got news for you. Hey, there's Steven. Blacks and whites are even. How would you feel if the joke was on you? Blacks, whites, Indians, and Spanish. They all came from the sea. We all have to share the same world. Trixie, won't you sing with me?
Hey, Stan.
Hey there, Trixie.
What you singing about?
Oh, not much. Just skyscraper stuff, like racism. Don't be racist. We both are buildings. Listen to what we mean. Love one another, sisters and brothers, or we will haunt your dreams. Or we will haunt your dreams. Or we will haunt your dreams.
Joe Rogan. The Joe Rogan Experience is one of the most widely listened to podcasts. It is also one of the biggest communicators of pseudoscience and misinformation. Joe Rogan has decided to platform all sorts of batshit crazy stuff on his podcast, such as Terrence Howard claiming that 1 times 1 is equal to 2, which is wrong because if you have a square with side lengths of 1, you have 1 square, not 2. Oh, what's that? One event happened 1 time? That means that event happened twice. That's right. There were actually 2 Holocausts. Or you have Alex Jones talking about how we were in contact with aliens, or that there's a breakaway civilization of scientists or some shit.
We're in contact with aliens.
Like what kind of shit?
Here's what's happening, because it's not just one group of aliens.
What's the different groups?
The big 5.
Okay, tell me what's going on.
Let me begin. This is really, I'm telling you, Joe, this is a real deal.
We're listening to you.
Well, first off, elves is the main group.
Okay.
And they call them the elves. It's clockwork elves.
I don't think you're allowed to say that anymore.
There are bad things that look like elves that have horns when they show you who they really are.
Damn.
They're bad aliens.
I'm with you.
AI is alien.
Like a robot?
Yeah, they're like robots coming to kill you.
I mean, seriously. Terry H is a dishonor to Terry T. Terrence is talking about how planets were, quote, birthed from the stars, or that everything in math is based on the Dewey Decimal System. That's right, Terrence believes that the Dewey Decimal System, which libraries use to categorize books, is what math is based on. This might as well be the Terrence Howard portion of the video, because I pretty much just made this part to make fun of him for the stupid stuff he says, such as that black people have, quote, 6 genome sequences, while everyone else doesn't, because Terrence Howard is a black supremacist. It's about the same as saying Cleopatra was black because your grandma said so.
I imagine her to have curly hair like me and a similar skin color.
I remember my grandmother saying to me, I don't care what they tell you in school, Cleopatra was black.
I think it is very important that everyone gets the right information instead of this slop that is meant only to pander to the working class. This is what makes the Joe Rogan Experience a threat to civilization. Also, I almost forgot to mention that I was playing a video of Terrence Howard talking in the car and it gave my dad a headache because of how stupid it was. New Age. When randomly generated text sounds like the real thing, that's how you know it's true. The New Age spiritual movement that popped off in the 90s, like all terrible things, has been the primary subject of Karens and charlatans alike. Deepak Chopra, who is probably the main reason for this madness coming about in the first place, claims that you can, well, actually, I'm not sure, considering the fact that I can barely understand what he is saying.
We explore quantum body and the quantum realm and beyond. I want to share something with you. Dear meta-humans, I think we should refer to each other as meta-humans because the human condition is leading to a crazy world right now, the separate self, and the human condition is leading to a world that is unsustainable, that has a lot of social and economic injustice, a lot of war, terror, mechanized death, illness.
I'll just let you infer whatever the hell the man just said, because I am clearly not on a high enough wavelength to understand. This madness is not just peddled by Deepak, however. There are many establishments selling this lie to the stupid people among us. Just look at this footage of me in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, trying these crystal plate bracelets from this weird shop right next to Ripley's Believe It or Not. Let's see what these do. Depression. What? I mean, what's even the point of this? What's the point? They're coming for us.
Alright.
Explain that one, atheists. Now, of course, there are many of these carpetbaggers on the site that you're watching this on. One of such individuals is Jordan D., now known on YouTube as Spirit Science. Jordan D used to be some kid on Newgrounds until he decided his calling was scamming stupid people who either didn't pay attention in science class or were unschooled or something similar where they didn't get the knowledge they needed not to fall for this madness. Allow me to show my unfiltered reaction to this man's craziness on this site. Or how about this man? Actualize.org, who is a literal cult leader who told people to kill themselves so that they could become the god of their own lives. Then you have all the Karens selling this crystal healing crap to each other. And the worst of all of the parents buying into this bullshit and using it to treat their kids' illnesses. All of this pseudoscience is a very active threat to civilization and scientific development.
I have seen things I cannot even articulate to you, given they exist outside the human frame of consciousness, and yet are so clearly real. I have seen 1,000 years pass in a single instance, and the sheer enormity of the human experience as expressed in that time with each individual soul and each individual life. I have seen 1,000,000 suns crash together at once, creating such a level of cosmic destruction as to lead back to nothingness. I have seen the whole of human life concentrated into the great chain of being, and the whole of cosmic beyond human, all the animals and gods and spirits contained within the great chain of being, stretching and powered from the lower levels of pettiness and evil to God at the top. I have seen 1,000,000,000 lives at once, and in which you know the individuality of the living whole in the human spirit or the mind of God feeding off the individual lives, with all of someone's life clustered into a single vial that is their consciousness. When you perceive the spirit world, there's this divine semen.
Anti-vaxxers. The anti-vax movement is a movement that is based almost entirely on the irrational fear of authority that has been created by the education system, teaching kids that democracy is the best way and all other more authoritarian forms of government are evil. This has led the public to believe that the government and everything the government does is to undermine the people. As such, since the government wants people to get the jab, some have resorted to following these bullshit stories and bullshit papers that have little to do with reality, all in the name of liberty and justice for all. And don't even get me started on all of the Karens who refuse to vaccinate their kids because they think that vaccines are a plot to enslave us all, in turn, making their children susceptible to diseases. This madness can only lead civilization down a terrible path. Imagine how many lives have been saved due to proper medicine and sanitation being oh so common. This is what makes the anti-vax movement the greatest threat to Western civilization in our time. Conclusion. In our modern age, there is such an atmosphere of degeneracy that we might as well be speedrunning the downfall of civilization as we know it. I sincerely hope that all of these people will learn a thing or two about the world and get help for their degenerate activities. But until that day comes, we will simply have to continue exploring the sewer and documenting it in its fullest extent.